You wanna know how much I love this game? I have tattoos on the backs of my hands from it. No hiding in a sleeve, not on my chest or on my back obscured by a t-shirt. It's all there, bare and naked for anyone to see how much I adore Abe's Exodus. As far as I'm concerned, at this moment in time at least, my favorite PS1 game of all time. A monumental adventure spanning 2 glorious discs and hours on top of hours of perfect, slow, methodical, difficult, and tense cinematic platforming glory, Oddworld Abe's Exodus took everything beloved in the first installment, Abe's Odyssey, and basically times it by 4. Yes, I've done the math. In this game, you follow the story of the hero of the species called Mudokons, known as Abe, a simple and slow but exceptionally brave and loyal underdog taking a stab against the corporate conglomerates that have used and abused his species for slavery, and when they're done with that, use their heads for meat lollipops and their bones used for a tasty brew, which in this game is what the focus is. Literally right after Abe's Odyssey ends triumphantly, Exodus kicks off, so poor old Abe gets absolutely no break in his constant plight of equality for his people, but after discovering that the Gluckons, these guys, have been using more Mudokon slaves to gravedigg for their own kind's bones used in the brew, and in order for them to never know what travesty they were undertaking, had their fucking eyes stitched shut. Abe is on the case yet again as you need to guide him through the bone mining factory, eventually out into the wild for more spiritual guidance and an ability to save your other friends from near fatal brew sickness, and then off into the central nervous system of the Soulstorm Brew Corporation, ready to shut down the entire operation and every other seedy, awful business surrounding it. Like Odyssey, it's a perfectly simple and darkly captivating spiritual journey with stomach-churning undertones, and it's all wrapped around gameplay that never gets old and absolutely masterful presentation. Using the hallmark mechanic of GameSpeak, you can interact with anything around you, even other enemies, in order to rescue your friends and solve tons of puzzles, and the fact that you're controlling skin on bones means that you die instantly more or less from everything you come across, even fucking slugs. So this already does wonders for creating an extremely teeth-grinding, anxious experience trying to survive among things that will shoot or eat you on sight, but the second you can find a safe enough place to possess, once Abe does possess something around him, the balance of power totally shifts, completely changes the gameplay, and gives you everything you desperately need to even the odds at that moment for a brief minute. The weight of the platforming and large emphasis on learning the timing never fails to be pleasing once you learn it, and you feel every single step Abe makes as he lumbers around. And the controls work their way into some of the best chase sequences and hide you away from some of the most lucrative yet satisfying secret areas in a game ever, and it's gratifying from the very start. Oh yeah, the game's also delightful in its looks, especially for PS1. The pre-rendered backgrounds are all copious with artistry, detail, and full of grandeur set pieces to drown you in a helpless yet otherworldly and mystical atmosphere. Look at some of these backgrounds, they're good enough to be gallery paintings, and the FMV cutscenes, tightly written satirical dialogue, and lovable, relatable characters taking a stand against the vile, detestable characters were all good enough to be compiled into a short movie and actually nominated for an Oscar and Academy Award. And unlike Odyssey, you could see and do so much more in Exodus, let alone talk to more than one Mudokon at once, and quick save to give yourself instant respawn points in case you solve a puzzle incorrectly. Enemy types are skyrocketed in numbers to create much greater challenges and situations in which every inch of the static screens need to be considered. And Abe could not only possess standard sligs with the guns, but even the wildlife for even more communication and food chain puzzles with other creatures, and even your own farts that pop around like a mini jet plane engine and explode at your will. The GameSpeak commands are amped up to make you connect with the world in more ways and also give you more puzzles with other Mudokon emotions to consider, from depression to high off their tits. And every command at your disposal isn't just simple to input, but also has many more uses than just talking to your friends to save them, because did I mention they can work for you and get other puzzles solved from a distance for you if you're clever with it? And of course there are even multiple endings depending on how many Mudokons you saved, and the game never explicitly explains this. Oddworld doesn't treat you like a moron and gives you what you deserve based on what you thought was the right thing to do. Always the satirical and dirty mirror to our own world, always hilarious, always full of charm, and always thought-provoking. Abe's Exodus, I can't believe, was even a PS1 game. It's that fucking good, and Abe carries it all along with being one of the coolest characters in gaming history. It's so good that it's not fair that I could never come close to making something like it. It's not fair. It's not fair. We had twice the flavor. Today's Pixel Empire deal in the description below is this lovely Bioshock bundle deal. Yeah, I was going to show you this deal on yesterday's Bioshock video, but I wanted to use it here as a memory for the good old days of the video I made yesterday. Oh, and the discount code Caddy still works on checkout for an extra 15% off of the original deal that the bundle is a part of, so that's nice. And as always, until tomorrow and the last day of this epic list, stay tuned and stay beautiful.